Right. So I'd love to hear your answers. We can talk about this. And so the first one, nutritional supplements. So essentially, the crane trial. Yes, correct. Number two, we have of wearing masks to prevent the spread of COVID. Yes, this one. This committee. Rural interviewed to find out different challenges accessing so you can improve your trust. It's involved. Very good. So yeah, are interviewed. That's correct. So if you stop there, then that would be here is this how to improve. Let's say don't meet us at the hospital. It's really scary. But meet us at the community center. Let's say sauce. You train a farmer who has had inguinal hernia surgery to interview people with the same condition to talk about surgical outcomes important to them. So, each farmer interview research because the results will be qualitative data. Men from the focus group, what their fears and apprehensions about getting vaccinated. So focus group. Good. Question break. No questions. Can we? Any questions? We can always. Okay. So I'm glad that you between research and CI, qualitative research and CI. But there are also some key differences, which I have mentioned. Purpose of qualitative because the answers to a research question. CI, it's improvement of the process, sometimes even in some decision making. Qualitative research, But when you improve this research, we don't call them participants. There are many ways we call them. Yes. When we are from one of, yeah, you're having a photo, and then you get ideas to improve on your photo. So, okay. So, when you do a pilot, just to improve how before that you are finalizing your photo. Yes. So, one of the keys here is to involve the CEI people or communities. So, for example, even before you write your project presented to Emmanuel and other questionnaire, before we submit, it's good if you meet with a few patients to ask them what they think of the questionnaire. So that's kind of improving. To help yes. On that studies. So you can have pilot studies for most cases, one small area so that you see wise. Then there are other studies you can pilot them for feasibility issues. Your tools. But the people participating in those studies are participants. Actually, you are not. You are using them. Solving them, it's much. It is. It is. And the key here, I have a slide to show this. The people that you tap for CI, they can't be your participants because okay. So a little bit of terminologies. Just here. In qualitative research, we use the terms focus groups and interviews. But for CEI, we don't use it. Even if it feels familiar. We just use discussion groups or CEI meetings or community discussions. This is quite important. Uh, Qualitative research results in data that you can publish, that you can CEI does not. But it doesn't, and I know that, oh, CEI is not that important because it doesn't generate data that you can publish. It doesn't generate data, it can generate feedback to the trial. Secondly, there are actually a subgroup of journals focused in CEI. And I have a list which I can email to Emmanuel to share. There are actually journals that specialize in CEI. So you can publish your CEI in those journals. Here, this is ethics of group. For research, you definitely need. For CEI, okay, in the UK, so it might be not required. However, if you want to publish your CEI in a so what I normally tell people is when in doubt, get ethics. Just to be sure. So especially if you want to publish your CEI. Yes. Yeah. Let us say that even the ideas of you of people who are here who are selected or something like that. And you want to involve them or you want to their idea. You think that that will be very easier just to go one somewhere else, then they start to get the ideas of people just have because of the permission that you are going to have. You ask to them. Way community to be understandable. Yeah. What else in the community? We need from the chief administration. Yes. So yeah, public discussion, but I don't think that will do it. Yes, actually, do you think permission to access someone from so it's like when I come to your house, and then your house, give me the permission to come in your house.
Yes. So and then I come and discuss some Karibu. So then it's much different. So when you have people like you are organizing focus group, what you are going to get is much more of a participation. You are actually learning. But if you have knows that because you are building it, and then and another thing I feel that you have engagement should even be discussing whatever you come here to share your findings. Like we did yesterday. Those was an exercise. You have an article approval to do that? Okay. No. I'm asking, that is really easier when you watch the video. But let us take in the real life the program. I open structure like move on, you know, to get ideas. To go on the people have the structure. Yes, the structure. Do you think that it will be really easier to go say that and start asking you had a whole now, how can you enter into a disabled person by matron experience? Because even if you are not coming for that, even if you are coming to visit the patient, yes, you are just passing there. And matron experience give me that and
So let me share my experience in the UK because the context in Rwandan hospitals might be different. So, let's say, patients also sensitive about what's going on. If they are preparing for surgery and they look really stressed, then you avoid them. So what did I do when I used to work in a hospital in England? I would go, some people are waiting to turn for a blood test or they are bored on the and then you just say, hi, my name is Yao, and then say, I'm doing research on this. What do you think about this? So it's also about trying to look at the situation. If you see that they are very stressed because they're about to go to surgery, you don't want to talk to them. But if they're in the waiting room, then you might. So that's my experience. Not sure how that translates to
something
your one.
maybe interesting.
Okay.
If you have your price targeting, so it will be difficult to go and surprise somewhere and start interviewing them, discussing with them, not even interviewing them. But the one for the CIU should be discussed. Group of and be happen. You have to have a way of approaching. If you want to pass by the guy who is watching them, then you have generally it should be like with people you can someone and you can even and that person will talk to you. Then you can be busy.
Yeah. So
You should be respectful when you go. Actually, it's why we are having this session. Because of this is, I think this is something that things that we have to understand. The key, how we with that, and also to consider all of this specific community that we will be approaching. Uh, so we need to be very comfortable. Probably, I think it's a new shape exploring that, and we just see how and we also to have all of the ingredients.
yes. Yeah. Yes, please.
Is about representation.
Yes. Oh, okay. Mhm.
Discuss with them.
Oh, that's a very good question. Because we also have that problem in England. So, if for example, you are talking about the biggest outcomes that are in society, if all you if the only people you talk to are University of Rwanda graduates who have gone to university, then of course they will know the importance of SSI. Representation is important. You need to talk to different people. Maybe didn't even go to school, people who only finished high school, and also some people who've gone to university. The challenge here is the language you use. They all speak Kinyarawan, but if you are talking to university graduates, you can mention what antibiotics are, what sutures are, But if you're talking to someone who might not have you have to use very. The joke when I try to train some researchers, I tell them, this is my suggestion. If you have a child who's 5 years old, or if you have a cousin who's 2 years old, explain style to a 5, they are able to understand that you've made a simple explanation. In one practice that I ask some students that I train is to come up with the researches. Yes, brilliant. But they were doing abstracts. But if you don't have a medical background, you need to understand. So one thing that I ask them is, we have what you call a lay abstract, where you write very, very simple abstract that even a non-scientist student in school will understand. It's a skill to practice. And so what I tell people is, if you can explain your research to a 10-year-old or a 5-year-old child, you're doing it really well. Yes, Foster.
Um, at the same here.
Mhm.
If you want to, so how many should be collecting?
Yes.
Yeah.
So for CEI, numbers aren't important. Unlike focus groups. So focus groups have a sampling methodology. You need to have a certain number of people. CEI, there because it's asking advice from low numbers. You can meet with five, but what we try to ensure is good representation. So that's a really yes.
So the next point is about accessing to people. I understand such, but like in a rural community, I'm asking myself whether we can write to the authority requesting the permission to access the community. Because if as well if the law does not
Yeah.
do this, it will be difficult to say yes. So whether we need that we are planning, research, so we inform them. Either we write them by informing them.
So I can't answer your question because CEI is very context specific. Some communities are very formal, and sometimes you need to go to the chief's house before he gives permission. So this is really, really important CEI written by researchers. And there's a research center there, the Navrongo Research Center. Early to late 90s, they essentially developed a model of training community